Hi, everyone, and welcome. The late, very much admired troubadour Jimmy Buffett once asked in one of his songs, who sits in the audience and who puts on the show? It's a big question. And since there has never been as much opportunity for so many people to consider doing just that, to put on their own shows, webcasts, podcasts, virtual seminars, keynotes, Zooms, the internet is full of opportunities these days to inform, entertain, and engage the audience like never before. Which leads us right to my guest for office hours for this special show. Felippe Nardi, who is the founder of Inside the Show, is coming to us from his production base in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. For the next hour, we'll be talking about exactly the type of show you're watching right now, an internet-based program featuring guests, perhaps a host, and one that employs a sophisticated graphics package and an information-dense mix of conversations, questions, and answers. Felippe's Inside the Show tool set provides ways to automate and manage exactly this type of presentation. Felippe, welcome back to OfficeHours.global.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me, Bill.
Great to have you here. Hey, tell me, when did you first start getting excited by the idea that you could help people succeed in doing these kind of remote presentations?
I started away from actual presentations. I was, before the pandemic, helping a group of magicians with magic effects, which is how magicians call tricks, but they don't like you to call it that. Because I'm an engineer and I'm a magic robist, and I saw magicians going online to the virtual shows when pandemic came, and it was really lame. It was really bad. They were like incredible people. They could point to a bookshelf behind you and ask to open a page and tell exactly the word you're looking at. But that doesn't work when you treat the Zoom like a meeting. So I started to explore ways to help magicians create virtual shows. That's how it became Inside the Show. Later on, other people started seeing that and how the controls work, how you can get this one person to control a show, and other people wanted to do that, and then Inside the Show grew into something that is not about magicians anymore. It's about people that want to run workshops, training sessions, group coaching, and any kind of virtual presentations.
So you had great magicians, but they weren't coming across well because the craft of being able to present, you didn't think was up to the talent of the people who were doing the presenting. Am I getting that kind of right?
Yeah, exactly that.
Okay. So you started investigating how can we do a better presentation online, and eventually that's going to lead you into the tools that you're here to talk about with us tonight, things like the Producer Hub, the Producer Studio, and some of the things. Can you talk to us about how those ideas came to you, and tell us a little bit about what they're all about?
Okay. So basically, Inside the Show is an ecosystem. It's a program where we help people present by themselves. We give tools, an ecosystem that they can practice, and we help them put together a workflow with Stream Deck, OBS, Zoom, and other platforms like Google Meets, Microsoft Teams, or whatever. And we help them create an engaging and interactive experience live. And just recently, we started diving into the producer world as well. So we are now starting to help producers create this kind of experience that we help one person create. Now producers, we're helping producers as well.
So it really is kind of a force multiplier. What I'm hearing you say is that one person using the tool set that you've developed can do something that looks much more like a multi-person operated show. Do you have any examples? Can you show us a little bit about what it looks like when people are inside the show?
Yeah. So basically, if I were to start a session, I would start with my pre-show where I would have some music, which I want because of YouTube strikes. But we would have a countdown timer. Whenever we are ready, we can welcome everyone to the show, and everyone from the Zoom session, actually, the actual participants come up on screen, and we can greet them like that with something that really creates a unique experience, and we can deliver our content in an engaging way as well, like bringing slides like that instead of, having a screen share taking over the whole session. We create ways to deliver, to interact with the audience, and to allow the one person to have flow as well.
Are there, how many options do I have? It looks, even from the pieces you just showed, like there's all sorts of multiple ways that you can configure screens. And is this something that you can customize as a user to make it look exactly like you want to?
Yeah, we created kind of like a framework to allow you to have smooth animations and create compositions that look really nice. And we teach them our framework that it comes out of the box with all the things that I'm showing right here, but we also dive into customizations to make it very unique and allow them to create their own scenes and compositions, all with these smooth animations and nice transitions.
For things like titling and things like that, what are the options available for somebody who wants to do the traditional lower thirds or maybe go beyond that kind of thing?
To be honest, that's one thing that we haven't explored a lot. I feel like this is something that has a lot of place on live streaming kind of show, but our public is more people doing online workshops for, online presentations and workshops and sales events. So I haven't seen, we haven't explored lower thirds or seen anyone using that yet.
I'm assuming that since you can bring graphics in, it's just a matter of creating graphics ahead of time and then flying them into your layouts would be a pretty easy matter. You mentioned Stream Deck before. Is that generally how most people do this kind of thing? Or do they trigger it off of Stream Decks? And what are the other ways they can actually manipulate the show?
Yeah, so we basically, if I come here, we help them set up a Stream Deck, a 15-key Stream Deck. This is designed for them to control the whole show. They can pull up the slides, change views, bring up effects. We design a workflow that allows them to control a session. It's very customized, but we thought a lot about flow because you are the one controlling it. And just recently, so the 15 keys is the thing that we run the entire presentation for one person production. For producers, we use more than that, of course. And just recently, we've been developing these. This is the what we're calling the ITS remote. Let me pull up the focus here. One second. So
Yeah,
this
we're
is the
seeing it.
ITS remote. This is something that we are working on recently that I can demonstrate a bit more later, but this is something that can replace an entire Stream Deck.
So if I was to come to you and say, look, I'm interested in the product, I'm interested in what I can do with this, I want to do a show about my passion, maybe it's old cars or something like that. Talk me through the process of getting into this. What is the first thing that I do to be able to use your products to promote my interests?
Right. So you got when you join the program, you got access to an OBS scene collection that come out of the box with a lot of interactive things like the gallery around. You learn how to plug it all together in order that you can create this kind of view. You learn how to bring slides and how to control them with the Stream Deck, how to bring chat messages from the audience. So there is a program that we follow, and we do that in cohorts. We teach everyone how to set everything up in group, and yeah, so and from there, from this template, from this framework, you learn how to create your own compositions in case you want different kind of views, like an overhead, or even bring people to the stage as well. And we have another is the audience management. We have tools that allows you to spotlight, select people live with Stream Deck and bring them to the spotlight. So if you're doing like Q&A, you can just select people very easily. So we got like interaction with the audience management, patterns and composition for you to build upon.
You know, not most people who are starting out with this stuff, you're hoping to build an audience and get bunches of people like you showed in your first example. What is it like when you just have a few people and you want to do a show more like today where we just have the three of us who are coming into the show? Does it scale from how small is a reasonable thing to use the tool for, and how big can it get?
Well, for a show like this, like I could bring all of you here at the same time. So you can see that there is not a lot of you. So we show logos around when there isn't a lot of people on the screen. And when there is, we can show actually, let me just switch the view here. We can actually show more people around, and when there isn't people around, we put logos on. So it's scale, and if you have 100 people with their camera on, it's also okay. You can cycle through people.
Oh, so there's a way to curate basically the subset of people coming into the show if you have a lot of people who want to get in and be seen.
Yes, there is a way to do that. Let me see if I can show you. So there is a couple of different ways that we can do that. The way that we do it today is we have a Stream Deck button that shows all the people that are on stage. I was messing around with these buttons today, and I'm trying to get them to demonstrate, to be honest, because I forgot to install them here. So
is there a maximum number that that can come in, or are hundreds possible?
Yes, hundreds are possible, and of course, let me show you about. I'm getting the file here, sending to this other computer. I'm just doing it on the fly because I forgot to prepare. But basically, there is several different ways that we can create people in order to bring them to the show, and this is something that we needed back then for magicians. We needed a way to bring spectators to the stage. So
so just like a magic show, when you call somebody up from the audience to become part of the focus of a trick. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So let me just switch to the right thing here. Okay, good. So I'm just to context of what is going on. I'm on a call right now with 25 participants, and this is what we call the simulator. And this is one of the resources of the of inside the show. These are actually people that we can mute, unmute, and spotlight and control just like a regular Zoom call. And this allows us to track these workflows. So if we look to the Stream Deck, we are going to see all their names in here, and we can cycle through them, and we can select anyone that we want. So if we want these two people here, we can just want to make myself co-host here. A second. Okay. So the simulator is doing its thing right now. Every now and then it resets. So it's coming up again. So I will demonstrate in a moment. Let's just give it a minute for the bots to come up.
Sure. And this is one of those things where if you have people, tell me a little bit about if you're doing it all by yourself as a single operator. I imagine getting you kind of rehearse and know exactly where you're going when. Can other people from other places help you? Is this a remote controllable system where somebody from outside of your come and help you with some of the production things?
The answer is yes and no. For the we have two sides on inside the show. We have the side of the presenter, the one-person presenter. We have the side of the producer now, and the producer has a way to remote bring someone in with the webcam and put people around them and do a production of 1, 2, 3, or more people live. So this is something that producers can do. And recently we have even added the capability for the producers to give the presenters who are not tech-savvy people, they are just there for the content to present. They know how to present, they don't know how to mess around with the tech. We created a way for the producer to give them 1, 2, or 3 Stream Deck buttons of them. So the producer,
Really?
the
Okay.
presenter is able to press a button on a web page, and then press your button as a producer on the Stream Deck.
So you actually can changes in the show.
So
Oops.
you're talking about someone that is presenting by themselves, or someone that is being produced?
Well, just what you were talking about. In order to say you've got a Stream Deck and you can do a subset of the buttons, and essentially, am I understanding it right? You give a remote access to somebody with another Stream Deck somewhere that they can now affect some of those presets and
Yeah.
call them up as necessary.
Yeah, and they don't even need really a Stream Deck. Like, it was designed for people that are not tech savvy, so we don't expect them to have a Stream Deck. So just to explain what I'm talking about, this is so when let me show you something before. So I showed you the presentation that I'm controlling all by myself, right? So I'm controlling here, but I can also run a production, and I am right now producing and presenting at the same time. And I've got a few people here with me. Let me show you. I'm going to switch the Stream Deck to an Excel right now, and I'm going to show you what I have in here. So in this Excel Stream Deck, I've got myself. I've got two other people right here on the production. So right now I've got two other people live. So let me show you. If we go in here, I can bring the audience, and I can, let me show you. If I go up, now I'm targeting number 2. So I will press number 2, and what is going to happen is that it's going to bring someone to the stage. Now, this is a bot, but because we, as producers, this is something that I find really hard. When you are producing, how can you practice a workflow when you're producing for 3, 4, 5 people, and you're going to call 5 friends and ask them to hang out for a few hours while you figure out how to press buttons? You can't. So we need
You'll
buttons.
lose a lot of friends that way, I would imagine.
You got to have a lot of friends.
Yeah.
But look, so we built bots into the practice. But if I come in here and I can press a button to bring another person, and this is Taco from my team. Hello, Taco. How are you doing?
Hello, guys. How are you doing?
So Taco
Hello.
is live, and look at that. Taco is live right now.
So you essentially have you're bringing in somebody in real time and allowing them to interact with everybody else who's already kind of on stage.
Exactly. Yeah, we can bring up the audience, and another thing that we can do is say we can select a participant from the Zoom audience, and this is something that we do by several different ways. We can, when we bring a chat message to the screen like that, it automatically selects them, so you can see a good message, you bring them it up, and then you can bring them on screen like that. They will be coming from the side, and you can even bring them to the stage as a panelist with you. And this is this would be like it's me right now, but I mean, I could have another producer in my place, of course. Me as a producer, I don't have to be here. But yeah, we create a full-on experience where you have like Taco here is just have his webcam, doesn't have to do anything, and I can put him to do a one-on-one session with a spectator just like that really quickly.
So really, you don't need a fancy rig on the part of the guests who are coming into your show. They can do this essentially with a webcam. And you mentioned before there's some integration with other platforms like Teams and things like that. Can you talk a little bit about how that all works?
Yeah, so we integrate today, when we talk about the gallery around bringing people to the stage, we are doing this with Zoom. We are working on, and we are very advanced on bringing that to Microsoft Teams as well, which is not my favorite platform, but a lot of people are forced into presenting into Teams. Like if they want to do this workshop or this big company, we are working on getting that to Teams as well. And for any other platform like Discord, YouTube, Instagram, we connect with the chat. And from the chat, we can create a lot of different interactions with the audience, actually.
Let's explore that a little because that is so popular
Yep.
today. Most of the shows I see on the internet, we've got all sorts of integrations so that you get more audience engagement by connecting what the viewers are saying into the show. And so it sounds like your product does that.
Yeah. So we basically create a lot of different ways to take the noise of the chat and transform that into a live experience. And on our Stream Deck, this is built in on right out of the box, and you can do a lot more. But let me show you a few of them right here. So I can press a button, and this will bring up a yes or no poll that just need to adjust here. There you go. Poll. And since this
Polling.
is a screen share of Zoom, I can show you I'm going to type test on the simulator. And when I type test on the simulator, oh, sorry, not test, I have to do a test, yes. And when I type something like that on the simulator, we've got a lot of bots responding. And look at that. This is the live interaction that we got.
And it looks gorgeous, transparency and everything that people would expect out of a modern design program.
We have several different interactive overlays. For example, we have the word cloud that allows people to type like single words and see which one is most typed. We have the done, not done, which is similar to the yes or no poll, but this shows how many people have completed a certain task that you have given them. And we have a very popular one, which is the world map. And I'm keeping the chat on screen so you guys can see that this is live coming from Zoom. And as people reply, you've got all these interactions and you're able to show that live. This is the time zone. And this, yeah. So, and we have one that I like a lot, which is when you ask people who have done X, and they can type yes or me in the chat. So right here, I'm going to type test me, and a lot of them are going to type me in the chat. And we got a number of people like, oh, 19 of you have done X, and you can interact with them like that.
Very nice. How do you train people into how to use their system? Is there any kind of facility, or is it all online training? What do you do to get people up to speed with the program?
So we have we open up cohorts throughout the year, and we do a 4 weeks acceleration process where we get people to go through live sessions, that's an hour, and practice sessions, that is a session that is live and you are put on the spotlight to practice how to do the things that you would do on stage. So
you actually have a way to kind of groom talent out of an organization. So if a vice president or something needs to do presentations, there's a way you can actually bring them in and work on improving their skills.
Not sure I follow entirely. So we have a lot of CEOs and people that do this kind of presentation join inside the show to learn how to do that by themselves. And we've got the Producer Hub, which is the program where we onboard producers that offer services for people that don't want to mess up with the tech, just want to look cool on camera and deliver a killer presentation, and have someone pressing the buttons for them on the background.
Nice. Looks like we have some questions finally coming in. Josh, do you want to read out some of what we've seen flowing in here?
Absolutely. If not already mentioned, how do you deal with audio sync issues?
Is there function for adding delay?
That's a great question. This is something that I really struggled with when designing Producer Hub, the ITS Producer Hub, because that's one of the most painful things that we have. So this is what it looks like doing lip sync and on Producer Hub. I'm gonna bring up here Tackle big on screen, and right now I put this little toggle. Oh, you guys cannot see it, but there is a toggle right here on the top. It's just perfectly out of screen. There is a toggle here that can slide to the left and the light to the side. So just say, hello, 1, 2, 3, tackle.
Hello, 1, 2, 3.
So now if I slide it to the side, I can delay his video, so it will freeze it for a second. And now say hello, 1, 2, 3.
Hello, 1, 2, 3.
And you can see his mouth moving.
We can certainly
there.
see there was a change in the delay between the video feed and the audio feed. So there is a way to essentially synchronize the remote contributors and get a better experience for the audience. Whoops, have we lost connection?
Okay, there you go.
No, there we go.
Good. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was just saying, so there is a way to sync audio and or add delays in the audio and video change so that things get back in sync if something about the internet is causing it to fail in terms of perfect sync. Nice.
And it's just a slider.
Yeah. Josh, we have another question?
Yeah, this one comes in from Roscoe from Madison, Indiana. It looks like you need a unique set of skills to produce shows. Are you working with a specific set of designers who produce shows for others, or do you prefer to work directly with performers?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so we teach the presentation side of it, how you can create a production deliver, how you can create flow while you are producing it, and how you can interact with the audience. So people are creating their own shows, and we give the bootstrap foundation for them to get started and then create the show. So there will be people that will be working with designers, and it's more like I'm not creating the shows, I'm allowing people to create their shows.
Are you available if people want to talk to you about how this all works? You're based in Rio de Janeiro. So tell me a little bit about where your clients generically come from and how far do you travel to help them figure this out, or is it all virtual on the web?
We do have we do have options for consultants as well, and I can give all details if you guys can reach me. The best way to reach me is going to be on Instagram. So Felippe Nardi, at Felippe Nardi on Instagram. Or you just go to insidetheshow.com and you sign up there. I'm going to send you an email. Right now we are preparing to run a masterclass where we are going to teach people the foundation of how to put together a one-person presentation, a one-person production. So for those interested in that, you guys can sign up on insidetheshow.com. And for people that want to produce, you guys can reach me out on Instagram and I can give you more details.
Hey, from your perspective, not professional presenters, but have had to get better at it, what's a couple of pieces of advice you would give people who are suddenly pulled out of the regular company and said, you're now going to be an online web presenter? What should they focus on? What's a couple of things they should focus on just to get better at what they do?
I believe that they should think about content and delivery has equally impact. People focus a lot on content, so they spend a lot of time creating slides and trying to put together what they are going to talk and what it's going to be about, and they forget about delivery. And oftentimes, the presentations that we see nowadays are a big screen share for a whole hour with slides. And no matter how beautiful the slides are, it's not going to be engaging. So the tip that I give is to explore different ways to deliver your content, to work on your delivery as much as you work on your content, because you are as strong as your weakest link. So no matter you have a great content and the delivery doesn't match your great content, your level is going to go down.
And let's look at the same thing from a producer's point of view. When people come in wanting to design a presentation for their audience, are there common mistakes you see happening? Off the top of my head, I think some people try to do too much and some people just don't have a clear vision ahead of times. What are some of the things you see that drag down the quality of a production from the point of view of a producer trying to do this for the first time?
I think that the biggest opportunity that we have producing other people is interaction. how we can leverage interaction, increase interaction, because we don't want the presenters to feel like they're talking to the wall, talking to the mirror. We want to create experiences where we can bring in the audience into the screen. We can do something that could only be live. There is a reason for it to be live. So I think for producers, thinking about how to increase interaction is the most important part, because probably the rest is going to be like the delivery is already going to be good. But I also understand that there is a challenge for producers, because a lot of presenters just want to share screen. I've been talking to producers, and they have this beautiful system, and their talent just want to share the screen. So understanding how you can do more than screen share, expanding your range of delivery elements, ways to deliver content, and then being able to communicate with your presenter and give them these tools as easy as possible is going to open up opportunities for improving the whole general experience for everyone.
Talk to me a little bit about rehearsal. It always seems to me that I never understood, when I see a good presenter, how much effort they've put in behind the scenes to become good at it. What do you typically see in terms of presenters in going from okay to pretty good?
I think when it comes to delivery online, it's being able to spend, like, we all will rehearse, we all will prepare, but it doesn't matter. All the preparation doesn't matter if on the time that you're presenting, you panic because you press a button and the thing that you wanted to happen doesn't. So if you don't have as much opportunity to practice your interaction, your interaction with the audience, it's gonna get in the way of your way of presenting. So that's why on Inside the Show we created the simulator. That's why we do weekly practice sessions where people join, and there's a little game that we say, so bring a chat message, bring this person to the screen, and then throw a roulette, and the winner is going to come up to the screen. You're going to spotlight them, and you have 1 minute, go. And they have to do all of that. So we put in pressure and in real challenging scenarios, because when they have to do this live, they're going to be doing this very easily. So spending as much time you're spending on delivery, spending on practice for the flow as well.
That makes sense. Talk to me a little bit about run a show. Do you counsel your people to have some kind of a bullet list or something like that, so that they're really sure what's coming next and they're always oriented? How do you kind of manage those kind of things?
Love that question. Recently, Inside the Show has always been about improvisation, about being able to do whatever you needed to at any moment. And we've recently started exploring the other side of it, which is running something that is planned. And we've developed something that's called responsive slides. It's basic slides. You take your slides, your keynote presentation, your PowerPoint presentation, and as you go through the slides, you want things to happen. And usually you have to coordinate that with pressing buttons. So you're passing slides, pressing buttons, passing slides, pressing buttons. And I thought, what if the slides could press the buttons for me? And this is what we did.
That's interesting.
Can I do a little demonstration for you?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Dive in.
Okay. So I'm going to press next slide with my remote here on my hand. And this is the slide. It's just transparent on the background. And I can pass through it, and I can bring it on the stage. And I want to show you one thing specifically, which is I have the image that is slide, but there is a subtle animation here that is not part of the slide. And this is a string like button that is being pressed as I press next slide. And now, just a second, I think I've got my computer open, so it's too many computers open for this, and it's pressing more slides than I want.
I feel that. It seems things get a little too complicated.
Yeah, running a production instead of a production.
Yeah.
So let me just get it right.
So basically, this is an interesting concept. It's when you advance the slide, other things get triggered simultaneously so that,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay, so let me show you
Okay,
here.
looks like you're really reset. Here you go.
Okay, so I've got this animation here. It's very subtle. When I press next slide, it's going to actually remove the animation. Now I press next slide. It's going to bring the animation back again. But look, when I press the next one, I'm not set up properly. 1 second.
Well, that's why working the bugs out. You kind of said this is something that is in process, but it's interesting. So it's more than one thing triggering based on the first action.
I think I got it. Let me just fix it. It was last finger adjustments that I made before the session.
I always love it when we get into the esoteric top end stuff and looking at more complexity.
Let me just check if this is doing what I want. Yeah, okay, I got it. I see what I made a mistake. So let's reset. So I'm gonna press next slide and I'm going through the slides. And then, for example, right here, I'm gonna talk that we have 4 weeks acceleration sprint. And look at the scene, it changed. Like I'm gonna go to the previous slide and it changed the scene. I'm gonna go to the next slide and several things.
Yeah, in real time, it's not going slide to slide. It's actually developing a new look in real time smoothly between these things.
Yeah. But the one thing that I do is when I got to the Q&A, I will just press next slide. And I press next slide, my lights change, and I can sit down right here. I can do the Q&A from here. Then I can just press next slide and I come back to the stage.
Wow,
so
that's very sophisticated.
Scenes and cameras and everything, just pressing next slide.
Interesting. So there's a triggering system inside that does more than just trigger next slide. You're able to trigger other things in conjunction with the next slide.
Exactly.
That's
basically
really impressive.
All it is on your slide notes, there is certain commands that you do. Like I wanted to press string deck button 1, and you just do a hashtag string deck button 1. And when you go to that slide, you press that string deck button. So you just program your slide. Basically, you program your show inside of your slides.
Interesting. It's fascinating. I've never seen anything quite like that happen before. That's really, really impressive, Felippe. Let's see. We have another question in the queue, so let's dive out there.
We do. John from Monterey wants to know, can you talk more about the group of professionals that are part of the ITS community, Felippe?
Yeah. So some of you might be familiar with Vin. He's one of the members of Inside the Show. He's got like 7 million people on Instagram, and we have a full range of people. Like this is, you guys know him,
John Middleton's an old friend of the Office Hours community.
Yeah, and we have Taki Moore as well, an amazing business coach from Australia. Mathilde from Circle.seo, the community platform that we use. Sunny, he's a storyteller, Instagram content creator. And we have several people doing all kinds of shows, really, from teaching English to doing magic shows. This is Dan White, our very first #1 member. He's been in Jimmy Fallon a couple dozen times. And yeah, we've got a community of 1,000 people today doing from small to events.
That's very cool. I know there's not a typical user for this because this tool looks like it can do tons of different kinds of shows for tons of different kinds of audiences. Has there been somebody using it for something you just went, wow, I didn't expect that to happen? Is there anybody out in your user community you went, wow, that's a very cool use of this technology?
There is one person that keeps innovating the way that we use inside the show. I didn't prepare something to show. Maybe I will see if I can find while I talk. But this is Yoni Pakanen. He's a magician, and he does a lot of stuff with hybrid shows. So he he does like he did a virtual magic show with a hologram on a store in a big festival in Finland, and he would interact with people in a hologram on the street and do magic shows from his home.
Oh
And
my
he's
gosh.
creating all kind of really impressive experience. He's always innovating. Really cool.
Nice. Nice. Very nice. Let's get to our next question.
Well, Bill, you kind of stole my thunder. The next question is from Roscoe Jones back again. How
Oh.
has the show impressed you with their design? What is the best use of your tools that you have seen produced by someone else?
You're right. I did step on that a little bit. Is there anything particular that has surprised you other than the first one you showed me?
Yes, there are a couple of very good ones. I don't have anything ready to show right here. Let me see if I do have something.
That's the reality of being live. We didn't prep any of this, and I hadn't even seen that question coming in when I asked that off the top of my head. I think Roscoe and I were both thinking in the same direction.
There's nothing. I mean, I can think of particularly one that really stand out, but we got a lot of people from the program posting their entire shows and their entire sessions. So you can see people doing masterclass on knitting, and you got people doing hypnosis events and webinars, and you've got a full range of people here, and we share what we are doing so we can learn with each other.
Let's go to our next question then.
Our next question's from John from Monterey. Please describe your don't look down method of smooth show with good eye contact.
Ooh, we like nothing more than tips on how to be a better presenter. So what's John talking about here?
That's someone that knows me. So I have a method that is called DLD, the Don't Look Down method. And this leverages the Stream Deck, 15 keys Stream Deck. That's why we recommend the 15 keys Stream Deck, because it is the only Stream Deck that comes with this little thing right here.
Is it kind of a raised? Okay.
Yeah, exactly,
yeah.
like a keyboard. So let me pull up something
Sure.
real quick here. Here. So I 3D printed this to showcase how the method works. And basically, if we put it on top of the Stream Deck, this gives you the map of the buttons that most matter. Oh, it's upside down. Right here. So
I see. So you're essentially blocking out keys you don't want a presenter or even yourself, so that you can't hit a wrong key.
No. I mean, I don't actually use this. This is just for visualization, for teaching. Okay. So we use the Stream Deck like this, but the keys that matter is these keys right here, because the don't look down method is you got keys that you can put your hands on top and you can easily find, and you can easily find that one because it has an indentation in the middle. So without looking, you can put your hands and you can find the middle key. And
I get it. This is like a teacher for touch typing. You're doing touch stream decking. You know when you're in your home row, essentially, exactly where to reach for the other buttons that you need. That's a brilliant idea.
And this one is like the quick buttons, because you can go to the corners without looking as well, because you can just put your hands and you can find the corner buttons very, very quickly.
Yeah, this is very much like what I discovered. I have been looking for the right mutes. I think I might have mentioned this the last time we talked or something like that. And I've often been upset about moving away from an old mechanical button to something that doesn't have a mechanical thing, because I always run my little finger up to the button that I need. And that sounds like it's exactly the same kind of thing you're doing. You get to the home row, you know where you are. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to look at it. You just, by touch, know the control that you want. Very cool.
Yeah. And I went a little bit extreme with the mute button, because that's the most important button that we have. I built that for myself. Like, this is a mute button, and then I can, right, it's not connected right now, but I just bump on it on the table and I know that I'm muted.
Nice. Let's go to our next question.
Could probably hit that with any part of your body at all. This one's from Jeff Veely from Hendersonville. And he wants to know, what do you think of designing tools to virtualize the two-way interaction, like performing in front of an audience, what do you think the future holds?
Oh, I love future questions. Felipe, look out along the history that's coming toward us. What do you see happening?
So tell me again, let me read the question. Read the question again, please.
Sure. He said, what do you think of designing tools to virtualize two-way interaction, like performing in front of a live audience? What do you think the future holds for performance tools like that?
Oh, okay. So hybrid events. He's talking about hybrid events. Is that it?
I think you can take it in that direction. Sure.
Okay. Yeah, I think hybrid events is not something that you do as a one person. For certainly, you do need a little bit of a team to pull it off because it's very hard. You need a team on site, you need a team remote, or someone on site and someone remote. But I think that I've been exploring that. We've got people, producers on inside the show, starting creating these kind of experiences. And one thing that I did was something that connects the Zoom chat with the live audience. So they can show a QR code on screen and they can, of the live presentation, of the in-person presentation, they show a QR code, they scan with their phone and suddenly they can participate as well on everything that is going on interactively on the show. Like if I show a world map, they can type. If I show yes or no or a poll, they can use their phone. So people on Zoom can type on the chat and people live can click on the button or type as well to interact and bring the message to the screen. This is something that we created. We are yet to see how people are going to use it, but I think that's going to be a cool thing to see.
Yeah, it reminds me of the fact that the Stream Deck is a hardware product, but they also have virtual Stream Decks that you can essentially map onto an iPad or something like that allows you to control things. It just maps the same interface there. That to me has always been very interesting, and I can see what you're saying about this. We have another question come in.
This one's from John Mahoney again. It says, in how many countries are there producers using the ITS for their presentations?
Yeah, from your examples, look like you've got a pretty large footprint out there in global users.
Yeah, we on the study show we have over 1,000 members from 70 different countries. We have 13 producers right now. We have just opened the program like 3 weeks ago. We've been developing the backstage, the behind the scenes, the software that we use to pull up, feed the 1080p feeds and do the lip sync and create these scenes with multiple people, gallery around, bring the participant in. All of that, we've been producing that for a little bit more than a year now, and we have just opened up the first founding member group of the producers. So we've got 13 people there, and I believe that we have maybe 5 countries out of these 13 people.
Very nice, very nice. If somebody wants more information about that, do you have contact information that you want to toss up? Or I think you mentioned before your Instagram. Is there any other ways for people to reach you if they want to know more about how this all works?
Yeah, if you guys want to send me an email, I'm going to pull up my email on screen right now. It's Felippe@insidetheshow.com, and you guys can just email me, and we can chat, go from there.
I don't want you to release any unreleased information, but can you tell us a little bit about kind of what's on your roadmap in terms of where you want to take these products coming up in the future?
Yeah, I think we've built it right now. So one thing that you asked me before was about the limitations. That was the first question you asked me when we were briefly chatting outside. And we've built the producer hub with one limitation currently, which is you can produce on the Stream Deck. So you can produce up to 7 people, and plus yourself. So all of these buttons are can be people you're producing, and you can bring in up to 3 people to the screen, to the stage they're on. So you can switch who these 3 people are, and 3 people plus 1 audience member. And one of the things that I think is that there will be productions where you will have 1 more than 3 people on stage plus the audience member. So I'm thinking about expanding this to having another Stream Deck XL below, continue the role, and you can even add and create scenes to add even more people. So that's one of the things that we want to create. And I want, like, a lot of things that we are doing are very new. Like, people haven't been doing this kind of productions before, at least for producing this kind of productions where it's really interactive. You bring people from the audience and you bring multiple spectators and with the audience around. And we've been creating a lot of tools that are yet to be explored, and we are yet to learn what is the impact going to be. And one of the things that we did, for example, was this right here. So this is a timer that people can have on their setup. So right now I have this timer in front of me right here. And
A stage timer.
No, that's not stage timer.
Oh, it's not a stage timer.
No, I built this. This is because I got frustrated with stage timer. It was good, but it was so complicated to use. First of all, like I just want to put the time of the session and have it running, and I have to click so many buttons. But then there was something missing on these, which is the two-way communications between the presenter and producer. The stage timer allows us to send a message right here to the presenter, but it doesn't allow the presenter to send a message back. So this is what we designed it with our producer hub. So look, imagine that you're giving a URL for the presenter and it looks like this. Time of the session, nothing new. But if they put a mouse in, they've got like big buttons and they can press. Oh, look at that. I have someone from my team on behind the screen. So Pedro can send a message again. So of course they can send a message here. They can say like, you're muted or something. We're going to see the message, but I can reply back to him by pressing one of these buttons. Look, press the button, and that's all I got to do. Like, if I'm the presenter and I'm not tech savvy, I've got these big buttons that I can just click and it sends to them.
That's nice. So it's like a graphic response, bi-directional communication between the backstage crew, and you can send, I like this or I don't like this.
And there is one thing more about that again, we are yet to see how people are going to use. Look, these right here are Stream Deck buttons on my computer. So if this was like sent to a presenter and they want to bring the slide to the stage, they could just press this button right here, and this is going to bring the slide. And this is a web page. They don't have a Stream Deck. They don't have anything. And you can allow them to control parts of the production that you trust them to, of course. And yes, so we get to see how people are using that. I think that we're creating really powerful tools. This is just the beginning, though.
Yeah, as somebody who hosts shows a good little bit, ways to get back and forth and make simple messages quick and easy between the crew and the back end can be really the difference between a show that's hard to operate and one that's easy to operate. I think we have one more question that's come in.
Yeah, John from Monterey is back. Zoom for Broadcast is out. Have you ever looked at connecting ITS with Zoom Broadcast for bringing IST in the broadcast world?
I haven't looked at it, and we went in a route to create our own solution for bringing up attendee presenters into the stage, which could be like it's highly customizable. So for anyone using different types of solutions, including Zoom ISO, for example, they could connect it to the system and create the same level of experience of bringing like, just to demonstrate that again for people that might not have seen it. 1 second. So creating a kind of experience where you can have, you can bring up a participant to the stage, bring another presenter to the screen. Look at that. I was not prepared to come on stage, were you? And then we can bring a member of the audience to the stage and then create a panel with them. All this experience is using something that we have created to bring up the participants, like the infrastructure that we're using is not on Zoom. So it connects in any platform, not just Zoom, but we could connect it with other solutions as well, like Zoom ISO, Zoom Broadcast, and so on.
Really nice. And we have one more question that snuck in at the last minute, and I'm fascinated by it because it talks about a magic yellow button, and I have no idea what that means. So dive in.
Yeah.
Hako Malik wants to know, how about the magic yellow button on the Stream Deck? What does it even do?
All right.
I want to know too.
We have these button right here. That's the speaker button. So if I'm gonna press it. Actually, 1 second. Okay. So pressing hold and I say like, where are you guys from? So I want you guys to come close to the chat and type, where are you guys from? Look at that. A world map appears and they can enter on the Zoom chat, anything where they're from, and the answers are gonna pop up live on the chat. Basically, it allows you to, impromptu, tap into over 30 different interactive overlays that we have. Like, for example, here, I could decide, will you guys want to do a quick pause or go to the Q&A? So I just let it go, and within a few seconds, I can tell them to come close to the screen, and it just appears a poll right there. They can vote, and we can say, okay, so we have a winner. We're going to go to the Q&A. So we have and without having to press Stream Deck buttons.
Felippe, it's always great to see you. It looks like we're at the end of our hour here. I just want to touch base. We've been talking to Felippe Nardi, the founder of Inside the Show. He has been with us before, and I'm hoping that you'll get a chance to come back again and see us the next time you have some time. I was looking for a crew list of who is on there, but I haven't seen things yet there. Is there any last word you'd like to leave us with about Inside the Show or about anything going on?
Yeah, so if you guys liked what you saw here and you want to see the behind the scenes of how we do it, I'm running the Virtual Audiences Masterclass week in just a couple weeks, and you guys can sign up on insidetheshow.com. It's going to be free, and it's a very hands-on experience where we are going to teach things that people are not doing out there. So you're going to actually go through a week and you're going to get out of it with a production level that you don't have people running outside of Inside the Show. So yeah, so sign up insidetheshow.com to move forward and continue with me.
Perfect. Thank you so much for spending your time with us, Felippe. It's always great to have you here. And I'd like to send out a thanks to Jeff, Peter, and Robert, our crew in the back end of things. It's amazing how many people show up to produce the things that we produce here at officehours.global, and it's a good example of it. We'll be back tomorrow on the regular show, and keep looking at your schedules for the guests we have coming up in the future. Again, we've been talking to Felippe Nardi, the founder of Inside the Show. We'll see you next time. Take care.